Lost and Found, a journey of redemption. How did I end up here? I had everything, and now I have nothing. It all started when I thought I was too good for home, too good for my father's rules. I thought I knew better, that the world had more to offer me than my quiet little town ever could. I was wrong. Dad, I'm tired of living under your roof, your rules. I want my share of the inheritance now. I'm not a kid anymore. I can make my own way. Son, money comes and goes, but family, our values, those are forever. Are you sure this is what you want? I raised you to understand that wealth isn't just about money. It's about wisdom, about love, about having people who stand by you no matter what. Are you sure you want to trade all of that for something fleeting? I don't need a lecture. I need what's mine. I need to see the world, live my life the way I want to, without limits, without your rules holding me back. If this is your choice, then so be it. But remember, my door is always open. No matter what happens, you are my son, and that will never change. I walked away that day feeling invincible. I had a pocket full of money and a heart full of dreams. The city was calling my name. The bright lights, the freedom, the promise of adventure, it all seemed so perfect. This was the life. No more rules, no more limits, just freedom. Expensive suits, fast cars, high-rise apartments, my name on every guest list, VIP treatment wherever I went. People surrounded me, laughing at my jokes, drinking at my expense, telling me I was the king of the world. I had made it, or so I thought. But the thing about people is, they only stay when the good times roll, when the money flows, when you're useful to them. I had no one. I had nothing. And the worst part, I did this to myself. One by one, they left. The so-called friends, the women who whispered sweet nothings, the ones who cheered when I won and vanished when I lost, the ones who told me I was a genius when I was just a fool throwing my father's hard-earned money away. I hit rock bottom. My bank account was empty, my so-called friends were ghosts, and my once glamorous apartment was no longer mine. The landlord didn't care about my stories, about how things would turn around soon. He wanted his rent, and when I couldn't pay, he made sure I understood what it meant to have nothing. Even my father's workers had it better than this. Maybe I could go back, apologize, beg for a job. But what if he refused me? What if he turned me away? What if I had burned that bridge forever? I found myself taking a job washing dishes at a rundown diner, scrubbing plates, taking orders, enduring the pitying looks of people who once knew me when I had everything. I worked late, slept in shelters, counted pennies just to get by. And every night I thought about home, about the warmth of my father's house, the smell of dinner cooking, the sound of laughter. One night, as I stared at my reflection in a dirty window, I realized something. I was a fool. I had walked away from love, from security, from everything that truly mattered. And for what? For a life that had spit me out the moment I had nothing left to give. I wouldn't let this be my story. I would go back. Even if I had to crawl, even if I had to beg, I would go home. Dad, I messed up. I don't deserve to be your son, but if I could just work for you. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't expect anything. I just need a second chance. I rehearsed those words over and over as I made the long journey home. My clothes were torn, my shoes worn through. I looked nothing like the boy who had left, proud and full of himself. I was broken, empty, lost. And then I saw him, my father, standing at the gate, looking down the road like he had been waiting for me all this time. The moment his eyes met mine, he ran. He ran to me. I didn't deserve it. I didn't deserve him. My son, you've come home. Wait, you're not mad. Dad, I wasted everything. I don't deserve— Nonsense! You were lost, and now you're found. My son, you've returned. This calls for celebration. Dad, this isn't fair. I stayed. I worked. I never left. And he gets a celebration. Son, everything I have is yours. But your brother was dead and is alive again. Shouldn't we rejoice? I didn't understand grace before. I didn't understand love. But in that moment I did. Love isn't something you earn. It isn't something you qualify for. Love is given, freely, without condition, without limits. And my Father's love for me, it was just a small reflection of the love God has for us all. I don't know how you forgave me so easily. I wouldn't have. Because love isn't about earning, it's about grace, just like God's love for us. No matter how far you've gone, no matter what you've done, God's love is always waiting. Come home. And so I stayed. Not as a servant, not as a beggar, but as a son. My Father welcomed me back, not because I deserved it, but because His love never changed. And I realized something that day. Home was never about the walls that surrounded me. It was never about comfort or security. It was about love, the love of a Father who never gave up on me. Maybe you're like me. Maybe you think you've gone too far, made too many mistakes, walked too many wrong roads. But I promise you this, there is no distance too great, no failure too deep, that God's love cannot reach you. Come home. He's waiting. If this story touched your heart, don't ignore that feeling. Maybe you've been running, maybe you've been lost, but I promise you, God is waiting with open arms. No matter what you've done, no matter how far you've gone, His love for you has never changed. It's time to come home. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so that more people can hear this story of grace and redemption. Someone out there needs this today. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's someone you know. Come home. He's waiting.